All right, good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. We're running late. We had technical difficulties. Sorry, I will try not to do that. Thank you for being here. We're excited about all the research we're going to learn about today. We've got quite a few presenters. We have two that are going to present online. Everything is going to be live on Facebook, so you'll also be able to see it later. And if you have any questions, wait until the end, okay? All right? So I'm Dawn Ireland with CDHi International, if you haven't met me already. And we are dedicated to finding the cause, prevention, and best treatments of congenital diaphragmatic hernia while also supporting patients and families. I know that everyone here knows what CDH is, but if you've not seen our handy-dandy custom-made little graphic here it is, and you're more than welcome to share this to explain to family and friends what CDH is. We have an amazing team of volunteers and boards at CDH International. We have 3 boards. We're the only charity that has 3 boards. We have a parent board, and several of those members are here today. We have a medical advisory board, and some of those members are here today, and an executive board of directors. So we have 3 branches, and we all work together to run the charity along with some incredible volunteers and staff. And so this is our setup, and we're very proud of the 3-leg setup that we created the organization with, and it's been the inspiration for a lot of other nonprofits who work in patient advocacy over the years. So we're very, very proud of that. And we also work very hard on CDH awareness. We've had quite a few celebrities. You can see this list over here, the ones who help us raise awareness, who have guest spots on our telethon every year, as well as the light ups, Awareness Day, the ribbon, the lobbying that we do on Capitol Hill. We work very hard. We have a great awareness committee. We do a lot of work, and we need more volunteers. So if you're interested, Tracy'd love to talk to you. And here's some pictures of some of the events. Niagara Falls lights up for us every year, along with the CN Tower and several other landmarks. Christmas parades, we've been on the New York Stock Exchange. Congressman Holding is a very big supporter of our organization and visits our office. And Capitol Hill parades, and we've done quite a bit. And we have a Masquerading Angels Ball October 12th in Raleigh this year, and we would love to see you all there. We've been stalking Nicholas Sparks for several years, and we will wear him down eventually to put CDH in one of his books. He hasn't said no, and he hasn't called security on me yet, so we're going to keep pushing. We have a lot of events and fundraisers you can find on our Facebook page, the Save the Cherubs campaign. If you want to borrow some wings, take pictures of your child raising awareness at home and landmarks near you, please let us know. And then some facts about CDH. Over 300 children have been born with CDH since the year 2000. That's an astronomical number. I call these the invisible kids because it seems like society doesn't know they exist. So it's our job as a charity and parents and researchers and the whole community to raise awareness. There's still an overall 50% survival rate, though that is different. For every country and every hospital, there is currently no standard measurement of mortality and morbidity for these kids. That means a standard measurement of survival rates and complications. So we really do not know exactly what it is, and it is different for every hospital, and they have different guidelines in every hospital how they calculate that. So 50% is the standard overall. Every 10 minutes a CDH child is born. That's 1 in 2,500. It is not prejudiced in any way. It can strike every race, every religion, every socioeconomic standard, any location in the world. And in the U.S., an entire elementary school disappears every year, and no one pays attention but us. So we need to do a better job of raising awareness to that, because that's a terrifying statistic. And you can see the occurrence rate of CDH is compared to the Craniofacial Association, spine bifida, Turner syndrome, cystic fibrosis, and according to the amount of money that they raise. So the bottom one, I know it's kind of fuzzy back there, the bottom one is cystic fibrosis and the top one is CDH. So can you see how teeny tiny that blue line is at the top for CDH? And how long that tan line is for cystic fibrosis? The exact same number of patients. I don't know about you guys, but that makes me pretty angry that our kids don't get that amount of research money too. So we're going to work a lot harder on that. And then down here you can see it kind of stacked up in dollars, CDH compared to cystic fibrosis. Not that CF is not a cause that's deserving of funding too, they absolutely are, but our kids are as well. And then we are very blessed to work with so many families, and so many of you have sent in quotes that we use on our publications. A lot of these are in the CDHi guides over the table, so if you want to print out of all of this, please grab one on your way out. And now we're international. We've come a long way in 24 years, so we are now currently in 70 countries. I've been gone 6 months this year in overseas, establishing nonprofit status in the UK and in Italy, and we are working on a couple of other countries as well. We are very proud to be part of the Alliance of CDH organizations. This is a group of organizations that are all legally registered as nonprofits. We all recognize the same ribbon, the same day. We work together. We complement each other on services. We don't compete for anything, for services, for patients, for money. We all work together and have a great relationship with many other CDH organizations around the world. We also establish CDHi ambassadors. There are a couple here in this group where we have parents or grandparents or survivors who they're on call for parents in their state or country. And if you want more information on that, Tracy will talk about that tomorrow. And we also need more volunteers there. CDH research, we've been doing a lot. I've been crashing researchers' conferences for 24 years, and they still let me in. So we have our registry, and we have the world's largest natural history database of CDH patients. We have 6,400 patients in there. We have about over 4,000 cohorts. Cohorts are patients. And Augusto is going to talk a little bit later about how important it is that you all work with us to fill out those survey forms on the database, which is you log into the forums, because that data we use to work with the University of Toronto, Mass General, DREAMS, all of our collaborations with all the organizations and universities. We tap into that database. So you're not filling out just chairs of CDHi's database. You're working with all these universities. So it's incredibly, incredibly important. Starting next week, if you have not filled it out, you can expect an email, phone call, text, Facebook message from me harassing you till we get every single person to fill out the form fully, because that data is incredibly important, because we're the only one providing the long-term care for these kids past the neonatal period or past the first few years, because we have members in their 60s and 70s that a lot of the universities don't have. So if we don't collect that information, they don't get it. So it's really important we all work together. We work with the NIH, the European Union, the World Health Organization. We're very proud of those collaborations. We're going to be published this year in a medical journal, so I'm very excited about that also. And then you can see the long list of research groups that we work with. Well, it was working. It liked me and I talked too much, and now it's rebelling. Tracy, can you tap that for me? No. There we go. We're going to go through this one really quickly. You guys don't want to hear about every single thing from every year, but the entire timeline is in the CDHi guides, and we've been working really hard on this. We were the first organization to put the actual timeline together that reflected the researchers and the patient advocacy groups at the same time. So CDH was first discovered in 1672, so that was a very long time ago. And the first case of a child with CDH was 1701. So CDH has been around a long time, and for a couple hundred years, it's the same treatment, which was pretty much nothing because most of these kids didn't survive. So it wasn't until this century that these children actually started surviving. Tracy, can you click through those pretty quickly? There we go. So you can see up until 1994, there was nothing in the patient advocacy sector for CDH. There was no parent group. There was nothing going on until Ono Zwart started an organization in Holland in 1994, so a year ahead of us. We didn't know he existed. I had no idea that was going on. I don't speak Dutch anyway, so it wouldn't have been very helpful. And then we found each other in 1996, and we worked together constantly, visiting each other overseas. He would come here, I would go there, collaborating until Ono retired and his group folded about a year and a half ago. So now we are the oldest organization for CDH, but you can see that we kind of like jumped in head first and said we're going to do this and this and this and what's needed, and we just kept rolling. So newsletter in 95, parent reference guide in 95, we attended our first American Pediatric Surgical Association meeting in 96. That was a very big deal. Listservs and forums and our first conference. And we worked with ABC's 2020, a bunch of other TV shows. So we've done a lot. So whatever's been needed, we've been the voice for that for a long time. And Tracy? Oh, it's working again. I don't know. All right, okay, so then we also helped the UK and Australia form nonprofits back in 2004. The UK became a charity, and then in 2007 we decided that we all wanted to work more closely together and have a more established collaboration. So we created the Alliance of Congenital Diaphragmatic Hernia Organizations, or ACDHO. And then we created the ribbon in 2007, financial assistance grants, videos, tote bags, all that came about in the later 2000s. Then we started lobbying in 2012. And honestly, guys, everything that we've done, we've had no idea what we were doing. I'll be the first to say we just kind of figured it out, trial and error, a lot of input from doctors and other organizations, and we've done pretty well. We reached the 1 million mark in 2015. And we presented our research to the CDH study group in Toronto in 2015 and in Holland in 2013. And I will be presenting in Houston this winter, so we're excited about that. And we were restructured into CDH International in 2017. We wanted to have more of a focus on research. I was completely overwhelmed. It was too much doing everything. And I was getting a little burned out because, honestly, when you cry for kids for over 20 years, it's a little emotionally draining. So Tracy stepped up, thankfully, and she's my partner. She runs chairs, and I run CDH International now. And like I said earlier, we are working on NGO registration overseas. So really excited to be more involved in research over there. Hospital accreditation is currently on hold while we work with the WHO, and we have a few other projects that are not public yet. And because we want to get that standard measurement of mortality and morbidity and a standard of care for these kids. And once that is established, so that insurance will pay for things like RSV and other vaccines and hospitalizations without you fighting tooth and nail and going bankrupt, then we will start accrediting hospitals. So there's more information on that in the guides. Some more beautiful photos of these kids. And then we do a lot on the support side. Tracy's going to go over all of this tomorrow. Connecting Parents, Tote Bag Project, Conference, Assistance Grants, Scholarships. And then a little bit by the numbers, we have over 40,000 followers on all of our Facebook pages combined, and 8,000 on Twitter. And we have a lot of followers. We've done a lot of work over the past few years, but we still have a lot of awareness to raise. And then you can see how we've grown financially over the years, but it really still doesn't cover all the needs at all. The different funds that we have, where your donation dollar goes. So only 6% of every single dollar in the charity goes to overhead. That is phenomenal compared to most charities. Like, we are at the top 1% of where we spend the money and how that goes. And we're fully transparent. We're award-winning. President Bush awarded us Point of Light award a couple years ago. You can download our tax returns, our financial statements on our websites. Any question you have, you can ask any of the board members. So we're absolutely 100% transparent to you guys. And, That was supposed to be a video there. Oh, this is the, sorry, I recycled the speech. Liz used this to speak for us at a local event. And then Amanda spoke on Landon, and then those are our kids. So that's CDH International. I know I didn't present a lot of research, and this is the research day, because we have things going on that's not ready for presentation for research. So I just kind of want to give you the overall for those of you who have never attended one of our events before, what we do. And what we do is pretty much everything. We're really honored to do the things that we do. It's a bit overwhelming because, we're moms and dads and grandparents and survivors, and we're just trying to figure out what is needed for these kids and to be the voice, because patient involvement is so incredibly important in research. I can't tell you how important it is in research, especially in the rare disease sector, which is what we fit in. Even though it's not a disease and we don't think it's rare, that's how we're classified. So we want to work more closely with all of you on advocating your stories to raise awareness for all the kids, and we'll talk about that tomorrow, okay? So we are going to get our next speaker up. And that is Mauro.